Good evening, sir. Sir, the women in the Western world, we see like they are in very prominent positions, like in business, academia, in government, sports, etc. But in India, we see that although the education has quite opened up for the women, but they aren't seen in many key roles. So, what is the solution to this? What is the ideal way for India to raise its daughters?
The parents, the society, the teachers will have to largely forget that the kid is a daughter, that the child is a girl child. As long as you are saying I am raising a daughter, it's a daughter you will raise, and all daughters will become women, and a woman is a captive to herself. How can she be liberated? She is as much captivated within her physical identity as a man is. So that won't do. Look at a child as a child. The differences between the two genders are quite minor. It is a society that really exaggerates them. And it's exaggerated out of ignorance and in the pursuit of pleasure. The man is made a hyperman, the woman is made a hyperwoman. If you do not do that, then there are differences, but those differences are minor. Also, those differences show up only in specific life situations, specific physical situations. Otherwise, those differences don't even come into play. So, the father, the mother, the teachers, why address her in a special way, in a distinct way? I just do not understand why girls must have a different set of toys, or why they must have different kind of clothes compared to boys. It's quite interesting. Garments, even for 4-year-old girls, are more expensive than those for 4-year-old boys. It's as if both the parents and the girl are being messaged that the girl's worth lies in her body and therefore her garments. Otherwise, physically, a 4-year-old girl and a boy are much the same. I mean, almost the same. How can there be a difference, so much difference in their garments and in their pricing? And I also fail to understand how is it that, of course, the bodies are different, but not so different. We simply blow up the differences. It will never be intelligible to me. Why must girls have such long hair? I understand there are differences in height and in build, and after puberty the differences get amplified also. All that is all right, biological. But why must those differences be exaggerated so much? And you are training her to be body centric. Do you see that? What is lip color? What are all those things that are gender specific? How exactly do they translate into beauty? These are very fundamental questions mankind should ask. At least parents, they must ask themselves these questions. Why must a responsible mother ever introduce lip gloss to her daughter? Is that not very, very violent of her to introduce the daughter to lip gloss? or to costumes that are very feminine. The girl hardly requires them, right? See, I'm not talking about suppression of sexuality, right? Let sexuality be a celebrated thing in life and all that is okay. I'm talking of turning someone body-centered at a very young age when she does not even know what she is going through. As a mature adult, you are free to discover your sexuality, experiment with it, enjoy it, celebrate, do whatever you want to. All that should be done with wisdom when you are mature. But when you are a girl and your question is, how should India raise its daughters? When you are in that phase, when you are being raised, a very, very responsible person should be hemming all this. Unfortunately, most parents are themselves in need of self-knowledge and education, life education. So the way they treat their kids, especially their daughters, is pretty horrible. So the way boys and girls are differentially introduced to sports, and all the little cues that girls keep getting, little but continuous. Their very seats at the dining table, who is supposed to help with the dishes, who's supposed to go outdoors to play, who's supposed to have the guns and who'll have the dolls. Who can walk around topless even at the age of 7 or 8, right? 7 or 8, the bodies are not so different. But even if the girl is 7 years of age and she's on a beach, the mother will probably ask her to not go topless. And that's not about strangers prying on her. Even if there is nobody on the beach, the mother will say, oh, you please cover up. So all that turns the girl very body-centric, and that plays havoc with consciousness. A caricature she turns out into, with no appetite for anything sublime. The body becomes a toy, the body becomes a weapon, and the mind becomes numb. The result of all this is stupidity. And then you have the caricature of the dumb blonde, right? Heard of it? Huh? All that is very unfortunate, no? But what's that meant to communicate? Someone who is gorgeous, sexy, sexually very compelling, but very dumb of mind. Why does it come to that, if at all? Why must this unfortunate thing be allowed to happen? No, it's not allowed to happen. It's made to happen. And we do that with our daughters, because we ourselves are body identified in the first place. So, these are just two genders, not two different species, right? Man and woman, these are just two genders, different genders, not different species. So her fundamental identity is exactly the same as that of the man. Her fundamental urge is exactly the same, and she wants liberation every bit as much as the man wants. But we do not realize that because the society itself has been historically man dominated. And man has no interest in looking at the woman as a conscious entity. Man would rather look at the woman as a material sexual object to be consumed. And very unfortunately, the woman too has imbibed this idea. This idea comes from the man, and it's not that this idea serves the man. No. This idea has poisoned even the man's consciousness. Not that this idea is good for one gender and exploitative towards the other. No, this idea has destroyed both the genders. And the woman too has embraced this idea of her body, her identity, her life. It's the mothers that destroy their daughters the most. So it's very curious, no? Sometimes you find fathers being liberal, and they do not want the daughter to develop into the typical woman. More liberal and broad-minded fathers, and it's the mother who wants to confine the daughter and turn her into the stereotypical woman. So that's the worst thing that can happen. The woman herself imbibing a male-centric idea of femininity. She does not need to be to develop herself as a toy for the man. She is consciousness. She deserves to know, learn, explore, experience. Learning is the purpose of her life. Growth is what she is born for. She's not born to give birth. She has taken birth for her own growth, not to give birth to 5 other entities. She does not exist to serve the husband or the kids or somebody else. Her primary purpose is to serve her own existential internal need. And that is for liberation. That's what she wants. So she has to get this body-centered image out of her mind. She has to stop believing that being a wife and being mother are very important things. Only then can there be liberation for the woman. As long as the idea of womanhood is tied to her sexual life, which includes life as a mother, there is no hope for the girl, the woman, and all that is quite sad. Let's change that. We have already had enough destruction. Let the girls of today put an end to all that crap. Right?